Hey, yo! What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's get into it. Yes! I know it's what a lot of you been waiting for. Y'all been beating my head up about it, so yeah, I understand you've been waiting to hear this. Um, where should we begin, good people? Where should we begin? Let's start at the top. All right? From the beginning, DJ Academics, when he came out and was doing his thing, I didn't even know who he was. I was someone in my own lane doing my own thing, not caring about anything that was going on over at, with his channel. It was people who watched him who decided to come over to my channel and try to say, I'm just copying off of this guy, whoever he was. So I actually gave a truth behind things, saying that I was never going to get into it with this kid, didn't know what he was doing, and things of that nature. So I would just joke every time somebody would bring his name up, and I would just change his name to different things. He thought in his mind this was an attack on him, and he felt he needed to strike back, and he made things worse. And because he did that, I tried to give the olive branch and say, hey, man, you did something you shouldn't have done. But the arrogance in him, he felt he was above reproach. So it just continued to get to a situation where I'm like, okay, this is what you want. I had to turn it up on him. So now, since I turned it up on him, he ended up moving on to doing things other than. But I had to shine a light on him to let the people that know that even follow him what type of person this kind of guy is. So he ends up running away from the YouTube scene and started going and got a deal with. First, he tried to get hired on MTV with Charlemagne. He was kissing Charlemagne's butt for a long time. And Charlemagne let him try out for his show because Charlemagne wanted to shortchange people instead of hiring professionals or people who had some acting experience and things of that nature. He wanted to just hire people off Twitter and internet and bring them along because you pay them, you can shortchange them, and that's more money in your pocket. So he gives Akademiks a chance. He goes in, he's auditioning, and Charlemagne isn't the one that makes the selection. He's one of the people that gets you there, but MTV, the people that run the show, have to approve, and they didn't approve of DJ Akademiks. He did not pass, so his audition flopped, and they was like, "We sorry, you didn't audition well," and they chose someone else. Um, that uncommon sense show that he had, so that went to the wayside. So back to YouTube it was. Then Joe Button had a show, and he got the audition for Joe Button's show, and which was Everyday Struggle on Complex. Complex was not looking for DJ Academics. They did not go out trying to find DJ Academics, and none of this time did they really go out to try to approach him. So at this time, he's He's doing different things now. Once at the audition, it didn't really go well. You know, the network wanted to take, I believe, Lord Jamar was there. They wanted to take him instead of Academics. There was some other people there. They didn't feel that he was great for the show. Joe Button believed this is the guy because Joe Button's like, look, it's gonna work. I could talk to this kid any kind of way. He's gonna look up to me and just take it. He doesn't know anything about hip hop really, but he connects to these young syrupy people because he looks up to them. So he's gonna get them. I'm gonna just basically school him every day. This is gonna be a great show. It's a great chemistry because this kid doesn't know anything. And Nadeska was perfect, for the moderator. He just like, no, they had chose another moderator for the show. It was a white girl. And not because she was white, she didn't get the role or the job. She was just a better moderator and had more experience. But Joe chose Nadeska because Nadeska, she represented, you know, the female side, and she had the look of most young black females. And this is most of the people that's watching this show is probably going to be African American. So why not have a representation for them on this show as well for the black females? And the Deska that they thought was very easy on the eyes than the other girl. And even though she was not a strong moderator, still isn't to this day, but they wanted to bring her along, and get her on the show. And Joe chose her. Now, Joe have creative control, which means that he gets to select and choose who he wanted to be on the show. Things did not work out that well at Complex for them. For Joe, he saw the writing on the wall a long time ago. When this show first aired, your boy Carcino was a supporter of this show. Even though I didn't like him that much, our problems really didn't come to a, big explosion at this time. It was just things that he did that didn't sit well with me. And because it did not sit well with me, I'm sitting here and I'm watching this show and I said, well, let's give it a chance. Everybody blasted the first episode. I was like, well, look, we don't have any hip hop platforms or any hip hop shows out there. Let's give this a chance. I said that. And then once the thing happened with the Migos, the show starts to take off. Once the Migos incident happened, the show starts to take off and pick up. Joe Budden's ranting, and really, Joe Budden was that guy. But the show started to take off and get success. It almost became a kryptonite for Akademiks because this was going to destroy who he was as a person. He's now getting to meet all the people he wanted to meet in real life, but never had the opportunity to, and was never going to come out of the basement to be seen. And now he's on this show, people get to see his face. So now he's gotten security. He's got a security blanket now. He's gotten some, he was getting some good money coming in. He was getting paid like I want to say about 20,000 a month to do the show. When he first got there, they gave him a contract. He's getting like 23,000 a month per, I think per episode. Sorry, not per month. I think it was per episode they were doing. I might have it wrong. I don't think it was per episode, but it might have been. I don't know. I don't know if that's about a month or per episode. I don't like to keep up with other people's money, but I just know how Complex pays. So he made about a good $500,000 for them last year, because that's what they pay. As far as their salaries for their people that's like really not an employee. But when he restructured the company after Joe left, he basically took Joe's show and became the star of the show. And because the show was such a hit, he was able to negotiate other things for himself. A lot of you probably don't even know he had another show with them called Kicks. I mean, like, not Kicks, I'm sorry. What is it? Like Sticks or something, with some about playing PS4 with like everybody. And he's like, we just have celebrities and I just play video games with them. And that didn't work. Nobody paid any attention to that show. And they gave it a trial run for like 10 episodes. It did nothing. Um, Nadeska had her little thing. It did nothing. And they were going to let Akademiks produce all these shows because they assumed all the traffic and all this attention that was around Akademiks was, real. Like people really cared about him. And what people found out is that they didn't. Nobody really cared about him. Most of the hits and clicks seemed to be bots, and nobody really was thinking about him like that. Like he's still treated as a nobody, and in the field, it's like he's got these young artists, but don't know. A lot of people don't even respect a lot of these young rappers that's in the game. It's like how many people going, you know, respect people like Quando Rondo, and they're not gonna be up there with. You ain't gonna see Quando Rondo doing songs with J. Cole. It's not gonna happen. It's like they're not gonna be at the same award shows. These are not the guys that you're gonna be around. So Drake might acknowledge Academics because he kisses butt, but is he gonna be seen at the OVO party taking pictures of Academics? I mean, come on. So naturally, people want me to be up in arms about, in celebratory mode because he, got released, and they decided to let him part ways and go the way he wanted to go. I knew this was coming. I don't know what that is, but I knew that was coming. And the reason I knew it was coming was because you had a situation brewing that had never been resolved. While he was doing his complex life and all the things that he was participating over there on complex, he forgot, literally just plain forgot, that he has an alter ego, DJ Akademiks, or AK, being attached to Tekashi 6ix9ine. Now on the show they used to promote Tekashi 6ix9ine like crazy. But then, you got a lot of people that work at Complex that are not African American. I mean, they're African American and just ties into hip hop, period. It's like -2%. So you got people that really don't even understand the culture anyway. They just understand popularity. So they mostly promote Eminem, gym shoes, and that's it. They're an internet company. They're not a cable network or anything of that nature. But when you're on these shows and people you're working for them, you gotta adhere to their code of conduct, even when you're not there. The same thing with Jamel Hill. She can't post stuff on Twitter and think like that's just my personal feelings. No, that's gonna affect your professional uh, job as well. And this is what happened with act. He could not balance the two. And then when he does his Twitch thing, you know, talk to his people on Twitch and all of this stuff, he wasn't he wasn't really available like he was. So he tried to make up for it by having explosive twitches. Now I'm back. And he says some of the most ridiculous things in mankind. But if you if you're into that world, you gotta be heads into that world. You can't be trying to dip back into the YouTube world and where you could just say whatever and think that's not going to affect your personal business. And then it was a lot of goofiness that he was trying to get involved in. Somehow they worked out some things with Snoop Dogg, and they was going to promote a show. And then this Selena Powell situation, which he basically introduced into this world of game where he's gonna manage these girls, and he start dating one and creating this fake soap opera of a relationship with these women who are just mindless. And it ended up trying to embarrass Snoop. Now Snoop is loved at Complex. You know, Snoop is loved at a lot of these different places. So you're looking at a situation where you're gonna have a lot of problems because you're trying to destroy that man's marriage, or you're attached to someone who is trying to destroy this man's marriage. Now, there were other situations that brewed up, and that will all be on the Patreon today. We will be going in deep on that on the Patreon. There's other situations that arose, and it created problems for Complex. And we'll bring that up on the Patreon. But we'll just stay focused right now. So you have a celebrity who's not happy with what had transpired there. Then you had a situation with Christy Teague, John Legend's wife. She was livid that this person actually worked for Complex, and they love her there. And you know, Chrissy Teague, and he talked about her. And Ack has been doing this and getting away with it for a while on YouTube, but we all know him as, you know, very aggressive and, you know, very demeaning towards women. And when you work there at Complex, you know, they've let people go based off of that resume. You know, you got a resume that's not good, they let people go off stuff like that. Then, to top it all off, they had to suspend him and bring him back. Then there's a video that appears where it's a girl accusing him of abuse and all of these things. He's putting out videos of him saying he punched the wall. She called the cops on me. It's like ridiculous. We all know it's fake, but why would you want that? You see, this is what I'm talking about with the psychosis, the mental psychosis. When has that become cool? Being in drama with your girl is cool. Ooh, it's trolling. But this is how you troll yourself out of a job. Troll yourself into the unemployment line right before Christmas. Man, I just hope you ordered Cyberpunk before, you know. Hope you paid that off so you can get that before Christmas. Man, it's tough. So, anyhow, with all of that going on, I'm surprised. I'm very, very, very surprised that one, he continued to do what he was doing when he should have known, and people around him was telling him, you need to relax, you need to chill. So he gets suspended, right, for a couple of episodes, and they bring him back to the show. He semi apologized, and they only brought him back for one reason, and that's so they could just finish the show. They were going to cancel the show. Show's done. Show was done. And the reasons why this show is done, there's a lot of factors that went into it. The numbers, the public's interest in the show. The public interest in the show was dissipating year after year after year. There are other things people would rather watch than Everyday Struggle. It's not interesting. There's nothing there. And because of it, it became dull. No Joe, no show. That's basically it. There's no character on the show. There's nothing there. Academics believed, and so did Complex, that this guy, we believed in him, that he could carry the weight, he can carry the torch, he's the guy, we can make this work, and it's all about Academics. He's not made for this platform. He's not made for that entertainment world. He's not. And now people have realized it, but it's too late. Now it's too late. And now it will be Complex's fault down the road. They're going to say all the nice things now, but later on we're going to hear more and more and more that it was Complex's fault. Now Wayno's out of a job. So that's about a good $200K out of his pocket, probably. Nadeska, she worked for Complex, so they'll put her in another project. I don't think she's gonna go anywhere, but they didn't work for Complex, so they'll definitely be gone. Wayno could possibly, because of what he did, he possibly could, be another person on another show, not starting his own show, but at least, co-hosting. I can see Academics now going into the field of what everybody else has been doing, podcasting, jumping on people's podcasts and try to build his own, like Joe got, and probably get on Joe Budden's podcast show. Like, gonna go call Charlemagne and Joe and see where he could squeeze in. That's what I see, because that's what he does. When someone kisses butt for a living, they're going to go run back to doing what they do. They're going to run right back to YouTube and start doing the things like, hey, I'm back. And then they're going to run back to go kiss somebody's butt so they can go out there and get their own platform. But hey, he did his thing for as long as he could. The reason why it didn't work at Complex was because of him. And that's just it. It's just so much they could take. It's a lot of people complaining about just him. So on the Patreon, we will go further. Okay? This is the PG version. This is the PG version. The Patreon has paid for more. They've been waiting for this. So you guys get the gist of everything. It's all laid out in this video. So you should have some idea of why he's not there anymore. Now, when we go on the Patreon, we ain't finna go through this recap no more. So that's when, that's when it goes down. But everybody else, thank you. You guys can donate to the page. Hit the Cash App. It's Carceno, Karceno. Hit the like button. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell I am out.